Greetings everybody, and welcome back to Dark Souls 2. Last time we finally found Vendrick, and if you only saw me play through this area here, you'd be forgiven for having no clue where to go. But if you played this for yourself, you will have wondered what's down this very path here. You'll have gone down here by now, of course. And you'll have found something, namely a door that we can't really go through. Well, we couldn't get through it. We can now, because we found something that allows us to open it. A key, so to speak, only it's not a key. And we've actually seen one of those doors before. This is a king's door. It tells us to produce the symbol of the king. The closest to that we have in our inventory would be the king's ring. And it's enough to briefly equip it and then unequip it. The door will open. There's a total of 3 doors in the game. Once in Drangleic Castle we gloriously ran past it because obviously we couldn't go in there at the time. The other one is in the Forest of Fallen Giants, and this will be the next one we're gonna check out. But first, of course, we are here in the Shaded Woods, which just led us to Aldia's keep. Aldia is actually the brother of Vendrick, or he was the brother of Vendrick. We don't know if he's actually still alive. I don't think there's any source in the game that lets us know what happened to him specifically, but he's probably dead. And those guys are actually the same that we can also see in the intro area and things betwixt, only this time they petrify us. So it's best to not get hit by them. They actually did petrify me in New Game Plus. Look at this here. This metal chest has 2 locks on it. I pointed this out earlier, and that ghost actually helps us out as well. But this is of course a mimic. You could also spot that it's a mimic by zooming in really close on the lid. You'd be able to see the teeth. But it's much easier to just look for the locks or attack every chest to be safe. And here we have Lucatiel. This is the final encounter with her.
Who are you? Oh. No, forgive me. I know you. Yes, of course. How goes your journey? I know not what you seek in this faraway land, but I pray for your safety. Please take these. Consider this thanks for keeping me sane. My name is Lucatiel. I beg of you remember my name, for I may not myself. My name is...
And that is the last we will see of Lucatiel. If we rest at this bonfire now, she will disappear. And her armor? She only gives us that if we summoned her for a boss 3 times and we succeeded in killing the boss with her still alive. You can of course also kill her and then Melentia will sell the armor to you. To do that you can kill her at any time. You can kill her the first time you see her and you will have access to those sweet dots way earlier. But we got them, I guess legitimately is the wrong word, but we got them by not killing anyone at least not Lucatiel. We did kill some other things. But yeah. Now, Lucatiel may be gone, possibly dead. It's not really ambiguous to be honest, she's probably gone hollow, but we won't see her again. But, hey, look at that. Lucatiel of Mira. This isn't Lucatiel, of course. This is her brother. And in case you couldn't tell, our weapon in New Game Plus this time around is an anvil on a stick. That's not the actual name of the weapon, it's the Germ Great Hammer, but you can see why I called it an anvil on a stick. It's a pretty sweet great hammer type weapon, one of my favorites as far as great hammers go. Most people probably prefer the clubs, because you can get them way earlier. And yeah, but this, look at this. How can you not love that? But yeah, Lucatiel will always appear here, no matter how Lucatiel's questline turned out. And Lucatiel will always turn hollow, no matter what you do. And look at that. Sweet skull. Now, you can handle this however you want. It's just that you can't attack it, and you shouldn't stand there where it attacks. It's gone now forever. It will never appear again. But yeah. Speaking of sweet skulls, look at our head. We are wearing the dark hood just so we can have a little skull on our face. Our body armor this time around is a Velstad's armor. It's one of the better sets, really. It's pretty good, as far as I can tell. As good as armor can get. Anyway, pull back, pull back, pull back, pull back. And those messages are not by other players. You can tell because they have no rating. And that final one here, that's mine. Yeah, someone rated it up. What a dick. But yeah, we're not gonna pull that lever, of course, because why would we? We know what happens if we do. It's a stupid idea, really. Let's just check out that other part here, and there's, this is not a flockgate, it's a prison.
Well, you're nicely hollowed, aren't you? Are you tormented by memories? Burdened by guilt? Now the question, are you ready for more? If you are, then we ought to talk. This contains my power. Long ago, this naive vessel of mine set about devising new spells. The fool dreamt of bringing new forms of magic into the world. But instead, he created me. Mostly by chance, but he did a fine job, I must say. What he sought was strength, and so I decided to demonstrate. While my vessel slept, I'd find my mark and hunt him down. But my vessel did not approve, and so while I slept, he sealed the both of us away. Now, I don't have anything against humans, but how is it that you go about defining good and evil? I'm only using what the gods gave me. How can that be so wrong? So what say you to a spot of murder on my behalf? If you don't, I'll leave this place and take more lives. Many more. I couldn't give a fig either way, so what's your choice? Yes, I see. How very kind of you. I want you to kill a merchant named Gilligan. A greedy, foul man. He won't be missed, I assure you. Yes, bring me a ladder miniature as proof. Is the only person who'd have such an odd knick-knack.
We are going to bring him a ladder miniature at some point, of course. He will want us to kill people and always request some kind of proof. But that proof is always something that we can get by not killing the person in question. Anyway though, he referenced us being hollow, so let's see what he has to say for human.
I haven't said anything strange, have I? I have absolutely no intention of leaving here. Do not attempt to help me. Just let me sit here and wither quietly away. Please, just stay away. No, please, don't come near me. Nothing good will come of it. Just leave me alone, please. Leave this place and leave me be, as I'd not see any harm befall you.
That guy, Navlaan, is what people assume to be Aldia, some at least. And Aldia locked himself away after he'd been possessed by Navlaan, but honestly, that's not really too likely. I have a different theory, which might be wrong. Anyway, this is New Game, not New Game Plus or Plus Plus, so we don't know that this lever is a bad idea. Or is it? We don't know. Well, we've been told not to pull that lever, but let's face it, if there's a red button somewhere and they tell you not to press it, what do? Of course, you press it. This lever seems to have taken care of that barrier, so let's see what Navlaan has to say.
I hope you appreciate the ramifications. Well, no matter. What's done is done. Besides, I've found myself a new mark. I'll spend some time traveling the lands. Slowly tracking my new mark. By the very gods! What have you done? You've really done it! You'll never escape him!
Escape who? I don't know. Anyway, Navlaan has now opened up as a merchant. We can buy stuff. The Black Witcher stuff is pretty good for casters, extra attunement slots and a little bit extra intelligence I think for some of the parts. But he also sells great arrows, which is pretty great if you use great bows. He doesn't sell regular great arrows, but the more, well, fancy kinds. Destructive great arrows, for instance, that will corrode equipment. They're pretty mean, even though I don't think they work that well. But they can be a little bit of an extended middle finger towards someone. Anyway though, I'm a little sad that Navlaan doesn't have any more dialogue. He's one of the more interesting NPCs I feel in the game. Most of them are fairly standard, like the whole Patches versus Lautrec type of deal this time around with Pate and Creighton was also kinda interesting. But aside from that, most of the NPCs are kinda meh, but not offensively bad, of course. Anyway, those mirrors, you should be familiar with them. So you should not be surprised that there's someone jumping out there. Now, don't be afraid. They won't continue to jump out of that mirror over and over. This is just one guy out of that mirror. And no guy out of that mirror. But one guy out of that mirror. There's 3 mirrors which will spawn dudes. And, well, they will respawn, of course, if you come back here, as far as I'm aware, even though I never came here twice, to be honest. But they will not, as I already said, continuously come out of the mirrors. This is not an enemy closet type deal. But it would be cool if they'd come out of that mirror if you get invaded in this area. Much like in the fight with the Looking Glass Knight. Yeah, there's not really anything here that you might want particularly, so you can just skip this part if you don't want any of the items here. And we just saw the stairs to bypass this big ogre, but we can also just, you know, unpetrify him. And yeah, never happened to me before, I swear. Anyway, we haven't really seen one of those since we went through the Shrine of Amana. And now we are a little more powerful than we were last time. Our Dark Infused and Dark Buffed S-Talk really shows what he's capable of here. But soon enough we will probably switch to a different infusion or forego it altogether. Because most of the time pure physical really is the best way to go. But if you know what you're doing, you can of course infuse your weapon with whatever you like. It's not really impossible to go through the game with a dark infused weapon. In fact, dark is one of the better damage types. But there might be parts that are a little harder. As far as I'm aware, the only infusion that really gets gimped in one area would be magic in the Shaded Woods, because the enemies there are really resistant to magic. But yeah, this of course is an enemy that we've already seen in the Shaded Woods, just huge ass basilisk. He has exactly the same tricks as last time, and he can of course be fought exactly the same way as last time. The main difference this time is that he will not attack you unless you get really close to him first, inside his cage actually. Or you attack him of course, in that case he will also aggro. And he does have a chance to drop some stuff. He can drop two different kinds of headgear, the dragon acolyte hood and another hood that looks kind of similar but different. We're gonna see that similar but different hood next time. This time around, this next enemy we're gonna see in this dark room here, which we can light up if we know where the switch is. Yeah, the next enemy we see here, aside from the ogre of course, will wear the dragon acolyte hood. Also sometimes known as the astronaut's helmet, and I don't think he'll even attack you if you don't knock down that portrait. But I always do that, because why not? That ogre up there, by the way, is also completely harmless, unless you attack him first. You can stand under him all day if you want, he will just, well, accept the fact that you're there and do nothing to you. Now, this long hallway, as intriguing as it seems, is not really where we want to go first. Don't get me wrong, it's most of the areas actually that hallway, but we will want to see all the side paths. And of course, go find the hidden bonfire. Yep, right there. You will be forgiven for not finding that. It's, well, really well hidden. You don't really expect to find one here. Ah, well. Down here our eternal nemesis returns. I don't mean the dogs, I mean acid. Now before stepping in there, you'll want to kill those dogs. Ranged weapons are best. You can use an arrow to aggro them and come close to you, or you can murder them with miracles or magic or whatever by using binoculars. Works really well, as you can see here. The main reason you want to fight them from outside here or lure them out is that, well, you probably want to go naked to go in there. And this time not forget to put off the rings, because otherwise they will all break. And now we got some goodies, most importantly this key here. As far as I'm aware, we don't even need the key to enter the areas, which will be unlocked by that, but you'll see what I mean later. In the meanwhile, up there appears to be an arm hanging off and something shot at us. But we'll have to examine that a little later, I guess. Hopefully from up above there, so we can actually see what that thing is. But yeah, back to the extremely long hallway of possibly doom. And those guys really like to hang out behind portraits all day long. But yeah, hey, there's another door. This is the one we actually need the Aldia's key for. And truth be told, for that door we actually do need the key. There's another door later on that we don't need the key for, but it's still locked and needs that key to be opened, unless you happen to bring an ogre really nearby so he can, well, smash the wall and just make it so you don't need to open the door. Instead, the wall gets open for you. And Aldia, as we can deduce in some fashion at least, like to keep some creatures in cages and possibly experiment on them. He might very well have created those giant mushrooms we see here, as well as the ogres and those weird dudes which we found down in Sinner's Rise, which is also in a cage right here, if I'm not mistaken. Not right here, of course. This is an ogre. Let's ignore him for now and make use of him later, but knowing that he's there will be helpful for us. I mean, it's not that we can't see him from the other side of the door, but what I actually meant when I meant those weird dudes, that's that dude. And it takes a while for us to kill him, so let's speed it up. We don't need to kill him. He can't smash open the cage, and he will not be able to actually harm us unless we stand really close to the cage. But, well, you'll see why I decided to kill him. Now, you see that guy there? Of course, we knew he was there already. This is definitely a trick that he can pull off. Just open the door by removing the wall around it. Now there is a door right to the left where we're standing, which he probably smashed open for us. But what we actually want to do is to open the door behind us. This is locked and cannot be opened with any key or any other means aside from that guy. And all that just for a weapon. The malformed shell is a great hammer, which I have never really used much. Possibly it's time to try it out. And yeah, this is that door that he didn't smash up, but well, we can open it anyway. And that's probably who shot down when we were down in the acid pool, because down there is that acid pool. And that weird hand we saw, that was one of those giants' corpses. What exactly are doing giants here? We don't know. What we do know is that Aldia liked to do stuff with giants and creatures, and he obviously experimented on them in some fashion. Alright, now up ahead is a little bit of a dick move. If you don't know that's gonna come, this trap will definitely get you, because you will stand in front of the door and try to open it, and that guy will just smash through it and land on you, possibly killing you. And Navlaan, well, he will only show up if we pull that lever. He will invade us here and a couple other spots. We can kill him every time if we want, but we don't really have to. Oh, but by the way, those weird wagons we saw that were kinda shaking, those contain basilisks. And that nice little ogre just destroyed it, and now another one. So we can fight the basilisk, and that was weird. Alright, that can't be good. I think you're expected to anticipate that guy by having seen that other guy behind the door smashing it open, and be really wary of that, but I don't think I saw it coming first time around. Yeah, one thing of note here would be that the dragon acolytes in this area actually have a chance to drop petrified dragon bones. So, if you don't want to make use of bonfire ascetic to repeatedly pick them up from areas that have them, this is probably the best way to grind them. Of course, only until you've depopulated the area of the dragon acolytes. But yeah, there's a fog gate ahead, and actually, before we go through there, really nice view. But now, fog gate, which of course leads us to a boss fight. The Guardian Dragon gives us a pretty great opportunity to attack him right from the start before he gets up. I could have hit him probably a couple more times if we were a little quicker. Aside from that, to attack him, it's best to wait until he comes back to the ground. And get close to his feet and you do your thing. It's gonna be alright. He may repeatedly stomp him. You can trap him in a pattern, so to speak, but sooner or later, in my experience at least, he will, well, fly back up and try to attack you from the air. But you can do a lot of damage to him that way. And once he's flying, it's best to just get away. Sometimes he will shoot a fireball, which is probably a good idea to dodge. Most of the time he will shoot a continuous stream of fire. He will sometimes fly up and shoot it straight down, which probably has the largest area of effect. But this is something that I only saw him do once ever. Before this fight here at least, he does it several times here, of course. Aside from all that, it's a pretty valid strategy to use ranged weapons. The first time I fought him with this very character, in fact, because that's my first character ever from this game, I did actually use this very same bow I'm using here. And I killed him using just that bow, because I was afraid to get close to him, because I didn't know he can't do anything if you're near his feet, aside from trying to stomp you, which is really easy to dodge and really easy to bait. But yeah, he doesn't have that much health. I do about 200 damage here, but if I had that bow upgraded to +5, which I have, and was a new game, I do significantly more damage, because he'd have less resistances and less HP. But yeah, he's not a particularly hard fight, as long as you know that it's not really bad to get close to him. If you use ranged means of attack, he's not too bad either. His attacks are fairly easy to read and dodge. And honestly, I don't think I ever died to him. Ah well, what a shame. We could have killed him there, but he went up too fast again. I hate when bosses do that. So let's kill him with an arrow to the head. Alright, now let's just move on. Up ahead we will have one more glance at that sweet view we had earlier. And then we have an elevator ride right ahead of us. That elevator ride is not too long, but it's long enough for me to show you the fight against the Guardian Dragon. Again, a new game. So, enjoy, I guess. The Guardian Dragon appears to be weak against dark, which is why our dark S-Talk with a dark weapon buff does a good number of damage on him. Between 500 and 600. This is well, makes this fight pretty easy. Not that it's hard anyway, but you see how quickly we drain his health bar. And, well, had he not flown up right here, we would have one-cycled him. Which would have been pretty cool, honestly. But yeah. Showing you this fight here, not like we're gonna see it like 3 more times or something, but yeah. That's it. This is the fight. It's over now. And we are free to go wherever we're gonna go. And oh, look at that. Plenty of guardian dragons. Demoted from boss to background objects in just a few minutes. Lovely. And the Emerald Herald. This time I want you to pay attention to her voice and her height.
Bearer of the curse. Long have I awaited one such as you. One who might shatter the shackles of fate. One who can set me free. Bearer of the curse. It was my own manifestation that led you here. The ancient dragon has watched over the world for eons past. Take this. Do not resist. The dragon welcomes you.
Now, I might be wrong about the height, but I could swear she's a lot shorter. But what's definitely true though is that her voice is a lot higher pitched. The Emerald Herald normally speaks a lot deeper, and that's of course because this is the actual Emerald Herald, the other ones being merely manifestations of that one. But anyway, this is something we can maybe discuss in a little more detail at a later point in time. For now, I think it's best if you just show you the boss weapons. The Spitfire Spear, a spear said to have been forged in Aldia, contains the power of a great flame, which is unleashed in a strong attack. The mysterious Lord Aldia secluded himself inside a manor to conduct various experiments. Those invited to the manor disappeared, replaced over time with malformed beasts that roamed its halls. Now the Spitfire Spear is very much a spear. It has a couple pokes, but instead of these strong attack pokes, it has the ability to shoot a fireball. Which I'm, again, not sure if it's useful, because I have never upgraded this weapon fully. Problem with boss weapons is that the material to upgrade them is really rare. But it could be useful. Worth a try if you like the weapon. Anyway though, there's another thing that we can make from the Guardian Dragon Soul. The Drakewing Ultra Greatsword. A sword decorated with drake wings. Use strong attack to unleash its latent power. The blade of the sword is split into two, and is best swung in smashing motions rather than slices. Drakes are likely descendants of the ancient dragons, and although their strength pales in comparison to what is described in legend to mere humans, they're still mighty beasts. Now, it is an ultra great sword. It's really huge and also really slow. Thankfully, the strong attack only works when two-handing it, so if you want to have a more versatile moveset, you can just use it in one hand, and you can have just that. Which makes this weapon, just going by the moveset itself, pretty useful. And if you want to shoot kind of a gust of wind of sorts, you can just two-hand it and do that. This is much like the Spitfire Spear, not upgraded by the way. Which goes to show just how much stronger Ultra Greatswords are in average compared to spears. Anyway, the projectile attack can be comboed. There's two attacks that do it if you use the strong attack twice. In this case, though, only the first one hits. But it's pretty useful to know. Anyway though, hope you liked this episode. See you again next time.